Good day, everyone. This is Dude, along with Kami.
Hello.
So today we'll be going over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Dice Master dice building game. So this in particular won't be as interesting as in, ooh, look at what random cards we get. This is a preset card selection. Already been opened, already played.
It was fun. Anyway.
Yes. But that's the thing. I'm also going to be going over... Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Had something fall over.
Yeah. Technical difficulties for a moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay.
But we'll also be going over some of the more rules that kind of get glanced upon during the card openings that we've been doing. So, I actually have one of the nicer mats underneath, and I'll be using that as an example later.
Ooh, I also bumped that. Oops.
Oh no. Rule book. So, it does actually give you the simple play mat, quote unquote. A little bit of a size difference, as you can tell.
Just a little.
It's easier to explain off of the bigger mat here, which works with any of the Dice Master games, just to be clear. So, one of the things is this comes with 32 of what are referred to as sidekick dice. So, these are mentioned a few times in some of the different cards. And sidekick dice, it's essentially a pawn, it's a 0, 1/1 cost, has it on one side, has energy on all the other sides, and a question mark, which can represent any form of energy. So anyway, when played, these are rolled. Hey, I actually rolled 2 sidekick, and then I could put them into my prep area, assuming that I had pulled them out of the bag and all. But also, well, I find it interesting. There. Now I've rolled 2 different energy. And these are what you use to actually buy cards and so forth, which I'll get into more in a bit. So, the dice that are not in white, so all of these... All of these fun dice here are your main character die. So for example, Splinter, the Ninja Turtles themselves, Shredder, Krang, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, Foot Clan, Mauser Traps, Bebop and Rocksteady. I forget the one guy who's part fly, and I forget what this one is.
Yeah, I'm blanking. Apologies for blanking.
Yeah.
You can yell at us later.
So, here is one of the other key things. And you don't have to use these ones in particular. But all these are bags. One for each turtle in this case. So, this is where you'll be putting your dice throughout the game. And to start with, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You start with 8 sidekick dice. That's all you start with. And from that, you roll them. I'm forgetting how many you draw at a time. But you roll to get it. Oh, that was a real good roll if I needed mask. But you roll, and that's how you get energy then to buy different cards and basic actions. And in a second, I'll actually go over the basic actions and what these dice do. So, get out the cards. See, I already separated them. So, go ahead, flip that. So, you have 4 colors. Blue, purple, orange, red. They correspond with these dice. And they're all the same with these colors. It's just the different colors. 2 represents 2 colorless energy. Can be used as any for spending. And then you have, I believe it's, there it is, the regular, the single star, and the double star. Depending on the action basic action card depends whether or not those stars even matter. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So in a standard game, you have each player will have chosen 2 basic action cards. So as I move this out of the way for a minute, and have the mat. So this is in particular a 1-player mat. I do have a separate one for Kami.
Yes, it just makes it a little less confusing if we focus on just one right now.
Yep. So for example, we'd have red, we'd have blue, and then the corresponding dice, as it has that nice little spot for them. So, grab the right color for my example. And then you can actually buy the dice, and we'll get into that in this next part when I'm actually talking about the different basic actions. So, for example, Turtle Van, you need 2 energy to buy. And for example, I can have that and Enraged as my basic actions that I chose, and they would sit essentially like this. And the reason they're so close to your opponent is because both myself and my opponent can buy these dice. And in this case, Kami would have the other 2 colors. I'm not going to place the dice, but I'll just set them here because I was starting to place that out of camera range. And for example, Cowabunga, basic action. And give me a break. Let's say these are, even though Kami brought these 2, I can still buy 1 to 3 of those dice, assuming they're still there. Once they're sold out, no one else can buy any more of those dice. But this also gives some of the game plan where it's kind of like, oh, I'm planning to use Enraged, and Kami buys 2 of the dice before I give the opportunity to. That's part of the game.
You can easily cut off your opponent in this regard.
Yes. So, quickly put these back. So I did a very quick example. But yeah, it was easier to explain this part of the game when I actually had the components in front of me to talk about. So
it's a very nice visual guide.
Yeah. And some of the other heroes in a half shell. Lethal Blow. Pizza. Gain 1 life. Reckless Abandon. Special Delivery. Tactical Cover. Yeah, Tactical Cover. Also, sorry about the slight handshaking. I was just doing a different video and still a little emotional over, so yay, nerves are a little higher at the moment. So, anyway, let me fold up this bag since don't need that at the moment. So, in a standard game, and the nice part, again, Matt has the nice counter. I know that Dice Master's website has a different one, but it's essentially the same mat. It's like $15. You start at 10 life. Just put any type of token. When you hit 0, knocked out, you lose. Very simple in that regard. So I showed off the basic actions. Now, all of these cards do not have any color combinations. They're all just quote-unquote common. The difference will be the abilities and their cost. So for example, we have 3 Splinter cards here. Each one has a slightly different ability. The dice themselves are the same, but their costs are also different. So Splinter, I can say his last name of Yoshi without issue.
Hamato.
Thank you. Hamato Yoshi, Splinter Father, and Radical Rat. So, for example, and it has a max, I can have 3 of his dice. So if I had that, and I can have up to 8 characters, and I believe it's 20 dice total. Now, the character dice sit next to the card until I've gathered enough energy to pay the 7 in this case. So that's how you end up buying the character dice. And once you have those, then let's see here. Here's the bonsai tree. So I grab that. Those will give you the ability to get 2 energy on 2 of the sides, 1 energy on the one side, which is the quote-unquote worst of the options, and then the 3 levels of, for example, in this one, it's 154, 265, and 277.
Sorry about that.
So, let me put the die back for a second, and then I'll actually show off the rest of the cards. So we have Splinter Ninja Master, Splinter Sensei, and Master Splinter. Now, as noted in one of the mini card drawing, because these are both named the same, I cannot use both of these cards. I can have one or the other, and I can't use all 3. I have to only choose one of the 6 here if I was going to choose one of the Splinter. Now, if the main card, for example, it was with World's Finest Heroes in particular, because Batman, I can have a Batman and Dick Grayson as Batman. Those are 2 different characters. Or I can have Batman and I can have Bruce Wayne. Those are as long as the main name is different. That's the key there. Anyway, we have Leonardo leads, Leo, and Big Brother. And as you see, the cost goes up for 1. Donatello does machines. Donnie, the mad scientist. Now I have the song stuck in my head.
Yes.
Raphael, cool but rude. Anger issues. And Ralph. I don't even have to see the next one going cool party dude.
Yep.
Yep, party dude. He's a party dude. There we go. Mikey. Partay. Oh. So yes, it's using the comic book styling, hence why they are all similar. And there is a different version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a box set as well, which does use more standard color combinations that you may be used to.
Well, we'll see a little bit more later, but this set is kind of a combination.
Yeah.
At times.
For example, hey, we have the comic and we have the 80s.
Yes.
Right next to each other.
Which is something that I like about this set. You get a little bit of everything there.
Yes. And yeah, it varies as I go through the cards. You can go, oh, yeah, some of those are definitely the comic where they're all the red, or they have the more 80s, early 90s style where they actually were given the different colors so kids could quickly determine which turtle was being shown at that time.
Yes. Donatello's best. Don't at me.
Yo. Anyway, April, Channel 6 reporter, part of the family, Ninja in Training. We have Casey Jones, Pain 101. I'm familiar with that. Mutant Hunter, and Lunatic Vigilante. Baxter Stockman. I could not think of his name earlier. Evil Scientist, Mutagenic Researcher, Fly Guy. He's
Which
pretty
works
fly
on...
guy. Wait, that ain't how the line goes.
He's pretty fly for a fly guy. Wait.
Yeah. Bebop, Troublesome, Mutant Warthog, and Pighead. Yes, yes, he is. Rocksteady, Rough and Tumble, Armed and Dangerous, Mutant Rhino. And then we have Foot Ninja, Shredder's Army, Ninja Syndicate, and Robotic Ninja Warriors. Yes, depending on which version of Ninja Turtles, they were either people or robots. For some reason, it was too harmful to think of the turtles beating up actual people, so they were robots back when they first got premiered. And Fugitoid, I think that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Professor Honeycutt.
Professor Honeycutt, Neutrino Scientist, and High-Tech Body. And then we have Krang, Ruler of Dimension X, Technodrome Commander, Ultram Warlord. Then we have the Mousers, Metal Teeth, Spare Parts, Rat Eradicator, and finally we have Shredder. I'm going to ask for help with his actual name.
Orokusaki.
Thank you. Old Rival, and Foot, Join Me. And the nice part is you can get this and not need any of the other games. However, if you have this, then you can use different cards as base actions throughout any of the other games. And again, you have all the nice dice to set you up for, okay, here's all your sidekick. There's 32. There's enough for 4 people to have one heck of a match.
That'd be a fun time.
Yeah. So, carefully put some of the stuff away. And then I will actually, as I move the box, since I have the nice mat to go along with this one, this is why this set was chosen. So, here are the cards you actually play. So, at the beginning of the game, you see which characters your opponent chose, and they see what you chose, and your 2 basic actions and their 2 basic actions. So that's all very much in front of you to start with. You have your dice bag, which just is labeled here for whatever reason. They'll have all your dice in it. Your prep area, wherein you roll them. You either put them in the prep area or reserve pool. So once they're rolled, they go into reserve. For example, if you rolled a sidekick and you had a sidekick, you can then take them out of reserve, put them into a field. If you rolled energy, you can use that to buy a card. There's also global actions on some of the cards that can be used at any time or used during the let's see here, main step phase, I believe it is in particular. And that's when you can actually pay to use those. So having some in reserve sometimes is useful. Usually it's best if you spend your energy accordingly to buy or whatever. If you do, then it gets moved to used. If you don't use the energy, it ends up getting put into the cleanup. So, the clear and draw step, as it were. You can re-roll dice up to 3 times. So, if you roll you don't like what level a character is at, or you're hoping you can do better, you have 2 more shots. Or you can take what you get at any point and roll. Say you rolled 3 dice, you can save 2 and roll the next one again, or you can roll up to all of them again, or none.
And that's one of the balancing factors, essentially, of the... You can see all of your opponent's characters, what they plan to be able to use. And some folks might go, well, what's the surprise there? The surprise comes in the rolling of the dice.
Yes. And that's And just to be clear, although the opponent can buy the basic action dice off your basic actions, they cannot buy your character die. Those are yours.
Yes, my thought is just...
I just wanted to clarify real quick.
Yeah. To finish my thought, what I was explaining essentially is that you can see what your opponent has and plan for it.
Yes.
But what can happen is the dice may not go your way still.
True. So that's the luck part of everything too. And
gotta believe in the heart of the dice.
Yes. Your main step again is after you've rolled and you're determining whether or not you're fielding a character, if you rolled the character, and there is cost to fielding some characters and all too, which again be noted with what you rolled. And then you can either keep them in the fielded zone to be used for defense or whatever, or you can use them and be attacked. Attacking though gets them put into the used pile, which then recycles them back into the dice bag after. So it's circular in a way, but they don't get moved to the used pile till the clear and draw step, because some abilities allow you to pull a used die back into the prep area, and it gets interesting. And again, there are many possible scenarios you can do to play. It all depends on what cards you choose, basic actions, and what your opponent chooses. So, anyway, I hope you found this somewhat useful and interesting, and hope you all have a good day. Bye.